Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, all of my info is listed in the About section of this channel, or mostly the description box. I always put things there, so read it if you want. But today, I'm going to be taking the time to explain how to make a candle specifically for the blind and visually impaired. So if you are blind or visually impaired and watching this video and want to learn how to make a candle, this is for you. And if not, even for my sighted friends who are out there, this will be helpful. A lot of things that I wish I would have heard when I was learning in the beginning. So there's two different ways you can make a candle. You can use the double boiler method, or you can use a Presto pot, which is what I have here. You can also use a digiboil, which I don't have yet, but it's this whole other complicated thing that I'm not getting into right now. So for the double boiler method, which is how I started, you'll obviously need a pot, and I would say this pot is about like when you make noodles out of, like spaghetti, like a medium saucepan or pot, whatever. And then you'll need this pouring pitcher, which is about, this one I think holds 2 pounds of wax. And I got the pouring pitcher off of a candle making kit, my first one, on Amazon. And you also need either a hot plate or you can just use it on a stovetop. And what you do is you pour, how you melt the wax, you'll pour the water into the pot, just about maybe half of an index finger size. Long ways. I hope this makes sense. Just a tad, just a little bit, enough so that you can feel the pot floating a little bit in the water. And then you pour your wax in. You put your wax in the pitcher, and you put the pitcher in the pot, and the handle should be on the side, sticking out. So the handle of the pot itself should be on your right side, and the handle of the pitcher should be on the left side, sticking out of the pot, so that it doesn't, burn or whatever. So that's how you do that. And I'm going to put this away real quick. So that's how you do that. But with the products you need, you'll need some Wick stickers. And literally you could just look up Wick stickers on Amazon and get them. These are pretty large. I really like these. You'll need, obviously, jars. Now, depending on where you get your jars from, where you want to get your jars, they will generally have a wick guide, so you can figure out what types of wicks you want in there. So we're going to be making 2 candles today. This is the opera jar from 1617. It's 12 ounces, and that's how much wax it holds, because that's the name of the jar will more or less tell you how many ounces of wax it will hold. And I used a CDN 6 wick in here, and I got that from their recommendations. In the description of the jar, it'll say, we recommend using this wick, or a different size wick than this. I have CDN wicks, those work best for my kind of wax, and I use coconut apricot wax. I got that from Hive and Honey Candle Supply, and I also have some from Blue Lotus Candle Supply. Now, the hardest thing for me, one of the hardest things for me when I started was, how the heck am I going to make sure this is centered? I can't really see how it's centered. And to my surprise, and I was very glad about it, 1617 carries, it was the first website that I saw carry these, oh gosh, what is the name of these things? Oh well. The Wick Kits, there we go. So there are certain size Wick Kits, and this is the smallest size. It has 1 hole, and what you do is you take your wick and you put your wick kit, the bottom part, you stick it in the very bottom of the jar, and there's a hole in between. And so what you do is, after you put your sticker on the bottom of the wick that has a circular part, you put it through the candle and stick it in the middle of the hole, and it will have it perfectly centered. Now, don't leave the wooden part in there. You flip your candle over again, and it comes right out. And you can use 2 different types of wick holders for the top. For the top, it's a circle with 2 little prongs in the middle. And what you do is you put the open part through the wick, around it. You stick it on the edge of the jar, and you take the wick and you kind of fold it over. It looks sort of like a paper clip. So not a paper clip, a clothespin. And you put it through the part where the clothespin would close normally. And that's how you leave it there when it's cooling off. And then you take it off after maybe an hour or so. You can also use metal wick holders. I have this wick holder bar on Amazon. It has 3 holes, 2 closer than, there's 2 close ones on the left or right, whichever way you hold it, and then one, it's kind of, they're kind of separated, and it has little ridges on each side. It's like a elongated hourglass. That's what it looks like. And so what you can do is you can stick the wick through one of the holes and put both sides of the hourglass sort of shape on the edge of the candle and leave it on there again for maybe an hour or so. So those are the ways that I use that. That wick kit is for this small jar. And then the other one that we're going to be using today is the biggest one, actually. This one is 3, so it's a flat wooden device that has 3 holes in it. They're about maybe a quarter size. And again, the thing that you put on the top of it when the candle is cooling, it has 3 clothespin looking things in the middle, and there's 3 spaces for you to put each wick, because for this one we're going to be using 3 wicks instead of just 1. So I hope that makes sense. And today I'm going to be using the Presto pot instead of the double boiler method, because it's just easier, it's quicker, and things like that. So that goes back to what you need when you make a candle. Obviously you'll need wick stickers, you'll need a jar, you'll need wicks, you'll need a Presto pot if you have one. If not, then you can use the double boiler method. You'll need wax, obviously, fragrance oil, a wick trimmer, a separate pitcher for the oil. That's what I like to use, but you don't have to use that. Color, but you don't have to use color either. And let me put this away. Okay, and of course you'll need your trusty scale, and I have a talking one. Talking ones are the best. So obviously it's got 4 buttons. It's got the top right is for turning it on and off. The bottom in the back a little bit on the left is where you tear it out so you can clear it, and then above that same button is the pounds, ounces, grams, all that. So, oops, forgot I had these here. These are measuring spoons. I love these. I don't use these for candle making. These are for cooking. But side note, they're really good. So let me put these away. Alright, so while I'm waiting for my wax to warm up, I have to measure my oil. So obviously you need a mixing spoon, if I hadn't said that already, because you can't mix it with your hands, because that would really hurt. So today I'm going to be making my soprano candle. I have my scale here. I have to turn it on. And I have my dropper. Yes.
Hello. Oil. Oil. 323 grams.
So when you put your pitcher on your scale, it'll say what the total weight of the pitcher itself is. Then you have to tare it, or pare it, or whatever. I don't know. Pare it? So you have to tare it so you're able to measure your oil. Now I'm using 2 oils to mix them together, and that's how I get my soprano candle. And I'm using a red color dye. This is red, right? Yeah. The other day I made one of these and I accidentally used purple, but that's okay. Mistakes happen. That's why Seeing AI exists. That's why there's people there to be like, unless you live alone. I recommend Seeing AI for an app to figure out what things are. And I also recommend Be My Eyes. That an actual person will be able to tell you instead of just your phone. But just be careful, because it's people, not just anyway. Okay, so I'm going to tear it.
Tear.
And I use ocean rose and rainwater, and I use half and half, and I use 12%, so I'm not good at math, so I have to ask Alexa, how much oil. So here's what you do. I want 12% of, and then there's 12 ounces. So I convert everything to grams because it's easier for me to remember. So Alexa, how many grams is 12 ounces?
12 ounces is about 340.2 grams.
340. Okay. So Alexa, what's 12% of 340?
12% of 340 is 40.8.
Okay, so we'll be using 300 grams of wax and 40 grams of oil and 20 grams of each oil because I'm using two and half and half.
Hair.
So right now, where did I put my thing? There it is. So right now I'll be doing one of the oils first. So just put the squisher thing in there and then let it fill up and put it in the pitcher.
Oil. 11 grams. Oil. 23 grams.
And that's okay. So I'm gonna close this one. And now I'm going to put the other one. The other oil. Because it's half and half. Or almost half and half. And I use the same dropper. Because they're both going in the same candle.
Oil. 35 grams.
Alright, so I need 40, so I just need a little more.
Oil. 37 grams.
Now, if you don't want to squeeze it all the way,
Oil.
you just
39 grams.
what you do is just kind of shake it a little, and it will take it a little bit out at a time. So that's what I'm doing.
Oil. 40 grams.
Okay, there we go. Now there's the excess oil. I'm gonna squeeze.
Oil. 41
I'm
grams.
gonna squeeze it back in the bottle because I don't need it right now. And I'm gonna put these back here so that I don't get confused. Oops. Not drop everything. So what I'm gonna do is take my pitcher with the oil, put it to the side,
Set to 0.
set to 0 my scale again, bring out my pitcher that holds the wax, put it on the scale. It also has my spoon.
Oil. 354 grams.
Now I'm gonna tear it again,
Hair.
pair or whatever. Also, when you take the oil pitcher off of your scale, don't forget to set it to 0 because that won't work. So I have my wax ready. So now I'm going to put 300 grams. I have this spout right here. It's going to pour it in there. So, oh, by the way, your Presto pot, if you have one, it's got 2 handles on the side. It's got a little temperature control on the right, and it also underneath the temperature control on the right is where you plug it in, because it's a separate cord, because you plug it into the wall, but then you also have to plug it in, the cord itself, into the pot, because when you take it out, it still is very, like when you take the cord out of the pot itself, it still stays really hot. But that way it doesn't get hotter and you don't die. And then in the front of it, it has a pouring pitcher, sort of like one of those water cooler things, and you just open it and it'll pour out the wax. And I stop every once in a while when I'm pouring so that I know how much wax is in there, so I don't go over 300 right now.
Oil. 75 grams. Oil. 180 grams. Oil. 230
be very careful because it's cutting it really close.
Oil, 291 grams. Oil, 295
And
grams.
if I didn't mention this before, you put the pot, your Presto pot on top of something very tall, like this wooden box I have underneath it. And that's in front of that is where you put your scale and your pitcher. So when you empty the spout, or when you open the spout, it goes directly under that. And sometimes, but this is only because my pitcher is very tall. But if you have a really small pitcher, I'm sure maybe you wouldn't need that.
295 grams.
It's yelling at me. 300.
Oil, 299 grams.
Oh, great. Okay.
Oil, 301 grams.
Good enough for me. So now I'm going to put my color in. It's this tiny 1 ounce bottle, and the top, I replaced the top with the dropper that it comes with. And so what I do, this is what I do, since I can't really see any less than this, so because some people I see put 1 drop, put 2 drops, or 6, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that. So what I do is I squeeze it and let it fill up completely, and I do 1 full thing of red, 1 full dropper. So I'm going to do that now.
Oil, 302 grams.
So I do 1 full thing of red.
Oil, 303 grams.
And I'm gonna move my jar. I'm gonna move my oil. I mean, not my oil, my wax.
0.
So I'll put this on my metal tray because I don't want my tablecloth to get ruined. And I have the oil in the other pitcher, and so I'm gonna pour the oil the oil from the oil pitcher into the wax with the wax pitcher. So. And now, I'm going to mix for a good 30 seconds. Alexa, set a timer for 30 seconds. Alexa, stop. Now I'm gonna do it again, but with the heat gun on top of it to make sure it's super hot. You also need a thermometer. Yeah. I don't use mine because I use the Presto pot and my thermometer broke. You can get a talking one on Amazon. You can use that with a talking candy thermometer or a talking infrared thermometer. They have both. And you can use it for the double boiler method. And what I do for my wax to make sure it's hot enough, I always have it on the hottest temperature, and I leave it on for maybe 10 minutes, and then I unplug it again so it still stays hot, but it doesn't get any hotter, so that I don't scorch the wax or burn anything else. And oh yeah, the scale automatically shuts off by itself. And if you want to protect your scale, because the top of it is glass, I would recommend, I didn't do it right now, but you can put a Kleenex wipe on top of the glass so it doesn't, because wax falls off of the pitcher, the spout, and it drips, so you don't want it to get ruined. But anyway, I'm going to do the mixing again, but with the heat gun. That's another thing you'll need. Now, I keep forgetting things, but the heat gun, you can get that on Amazon too. It's a mini heat gun. It's just like a tiny, 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 tiny blow dryer that has extreme heat powers. So now I'm gonna pour. Oh, there we go. Now I'm gonna pour. I made a mistake. Okay. So the wick is already in there, and everything is centered. The jar is clean. I have everything mixed together here, and now it's time to pour. Now make sure the tip of your pitcher is very, 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 very close and inside, almost inside the jar, because you don't want to make a giant mess, and you don't want it to overflow or spill everywhere. So you have to, what I do is cup my hand sort of in front of the pitcher while I'm pouring, and just kind of make sure that nothing really goes. An open cup, not like I take my thumb and my index finger and I put it around the top of it, not my whole hand because I don't want to burn myself. But anyway, so that's that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the metal one today, the metal wick bar. So I'm going to stick it through the middle hole, stick the wick through the middle hole, lay it on there, on the edge of on either side of the jar. And I'm going to set this, I'm going to move it back a little because I need room for the other candle that I'm going to do. Oh, and don't do what I just did. I'm not even going to explain it. And there you go. So that's that. I'm going to go ahead and clean these for the next candle I'm going to do, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now while that is cooling off, also don't move it when it's cooling off, and don't trim the wick until it's completely dry. So now I'm going to make this really, really big candle. This is my base candle. Big jar, nice, beautiful, black, sleek look. Also from 1617. This baby holds 26 ounces of wax. And I'm going to wipe it down because it's been in storage for a little bit. If this will open, there we go. So just grab a disinfectant wipe and clean it up before I use the Wick Kit to put it in here. So for this one, I use 3 CDN size 3 wicks. Those CDN wicks come in like from size 2 to 10. And that all depends on the size of your jar. So if you have a really tiny jar, you'll want to use tiny wicks. And if you have maybe a medium-sized jar that will want to hold multiple wicks, you'll still want to use small wicks. But you can also use, like for the soprano candle, I have 1 CDN size 6, which is a medium-sized wick. And then it really depends on the diameter of the top and the top of the jar and the flame, because you don't want it to be too big, you don't want it to be too small. The melt pool should be pretty good, and if you have a good melt pool, I'd say by 2 hours, then it's good. So now I just pulled out these 3 CDN size 3 wicks from this bag here, from my stuff. So I'm going to put that back in my little storage area. And also, if you would like to see a detailed cleaning video on how I clean things and why it's so important, you can watch my video that I posted last week. So, now, for this we're going to be wicking together. Remember the device that I told you that has 3 holes? So I'm going to drop that down in there, in the bottom of the jar. I'm going to take the bottom of this wick with the circular thing, attach it to the sticker, pull the outside of the sticker off because it's double-sided, and stick it in one of the holes. And you just repeat that process until they're all covered up. Now this one is a little more complicated because it's a lot of wax, because it's going to be pretty heavy, and again I use the 2 oils, so I do half and half. This is going to be Frankincense and Myrrh and Fireside from Candle Science. They smell amazing together. I love it. Half and half. So as I completely finish wicking this baby right here, I use two colors for this. I used black and blue, and I used 2 full dropper sizes. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm going to make it a thing. 2 full dropper sizes of black and 1 full dropper size of blue. Because I tried to do just 1 dropper size of black, and it looked really ugly. Okay, so I just finished putting all 3 wicks, and now flip the jar over, take the wick device out of the bottom, and put that to the side. I'm done with my wick stickers, so I'm going to put that in my shelf area. So, most people, they will put the wick holder on the top before they pour and during and while they pour. I don't like to do that because my hands are shaky and I just can't even tell where, like, you know, where the wax is going to go because it's all kind of weird looking. So what I do is I kind of fold, since this is a big jar, I fold the wicks on the edge of the jar, so they're kind of hanging on the outside. But they don't break, because I'm going to be folding them anyways whenever I put the holder on top of it after I put the wax in. So, now I'm going to do the oil. Again, with the scale and 50-50 of each oil.
Oil, 323 grams. Hair,
And now I'm going to use the dropper for, I cleaned all of these, by the way. So I use, this one is Fireside. Again, if you don't know what it is or what it's, if you're unsure, oh wait, I have to measure it first. Alexa, how many grams is 26 ounces?
26 ounces is about 737 grams.
737. Alexa, what's 12% of 737?
12% of 737 is 88.44.
Okay. Alexa, 737 minus 88?
737 minus 88 is 649.
Okay, so again, I'm going to do 44 grams of each oil.
oil, 14 grams. Oil, 28 grams. Oil, 42 grams.
44. So I only need a little more.
Oil, 44 grams.
Okay, now I'm going to put the excess back in the jar. Put that to the side. Close it so I don't spill it because I'm clumsy. Now I'm going to do the other oil. Now, whenever you're trying to calculate how much oil should be in your candle, I would recommend just going by how much percentage. So this can hold up to 12% fragrance load, this wax, and I like to use 12%.
57 grams.
You can use 9%, 8%, really, however, just don't go above the recommended fill. Usually on the website where you buy the wax.
Oil, 70 grams. Oil, 82 grams. Oil, 84 grams.
Hello?
Oil, 86 grams.
Almost there. And if you're ever unsure, I don't know if I think I said this already, but remember to use the apps that I was telling you about on your phone, Seeing AI or Be My Eyes, to figure out what oils you're using, or just smell it if you know what, if you're familiar with it. Come on, almost there.
Oil, 89 grams.
One over, but that's okay. So I'm going to put the excess back in here. Close up this oil. This smells so good. So, I think I started saying this a second ago, but I think I got distracted by the oil.
Set to 0.
So you want to set that to 0 again. I'm going to stop a minute and explain this. So, don't do what I just did. So what you want to do is, put that down so I don't get distracted. So, if you want to figure out how much oil you should put in your candle, you just, like I said, you take the percentage and then you, like, here's what I did. I just like, okay, so, because this is really confusing for me at the beginning. And at first I was just kind of figuring it out, and I wasted a lot of wax that way, and it just really didn't work. So, what I found that you can, with a lot of help from other people on YouTube, you take the number, so like this jar is 26 grams or 737, or 26 ounces and 737 grams. So I was like, okay, so I want to use that, and then I want to take 12% of that. So what I said to Alexa, obviously, was like, what's 12% of 737? And she said, okay, 88. So then, okay, you subtract 88 from 737, and you do that pretty much with anything. So if you wanted, like, I don't know, a 12-ounce candle, which was the soprano that I just did, you convert it to grams if you want, and then you subtract whatever 12 or 10 or 9% of that is from the original number. So that gives you how much oil you put in. So like 88 grams of oil, okay? So I'm using 2 oils, so I did 44 grams of each oil. And then that gives you like 737 minus 88, which I have to ask her again because I forgot. And that's the amount of wax that you use. And my scale just shut off. Okay, so let's do that.
Hello. Oil.
And the color, don't worry about the color. The color whenever you put it in there, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really weigh that much. Math isn't my strongest subject.
Oil, 353 grams.
Neither is English or history or really anything else.
Hair,
Okay. Alexa, what's 737 minus 88?
737 minus 88 is 649.
Okay, so that's how much wax I'll be putting in here.
oil, 203 grams. Oil, 288 grams. Oil, 287 grams.
And I hate gloves, so I don't use them.
Oil, 288 grams.
Come on.
Oil, 328 grams.
So I'm 649. That's what I need.
Oil, 402 grams.
Okay.
Oil, 521 grams.
Getting there, guys. We're getting there. Okay, that's a little much. I think I'll let it, I think I'll keep it that way though.
156 grams.
Oh no, okay, no. Alright, here we go. This is what happened last time. I have to be very careful with this.
651 grams.
Okay, well, never mind. Usually, sometimes whenever that happens, I will have to pour some back in, but I'm not really going to worry about it this time.
654 grams. Tear. Off.
There we go. Because sometimes it'll just harden and stick to the pitcher, so it won't really mean that much. So, I'm going to do 2, I have my color. I'm going to do 2, fill it up completely, the little dropper. 2 dropper sizes. 2 full dropper sizes of black. So put it back in, fill it up. There's a second drop of black. Close this, because again, I am clumsy. And 1 of blue. 1 full dropper size of blue. Okay. And also, this video is pretty long, so I hope you had a snack or something, because, yeah, so this is pretty heavy. So what I'm going to do is move my jar a little because I put it too close to me. Put it on the metal tray that I have, and go to mixing town. Alexa, set a timer for 30 seconds. Might want to be more gentle than I am with this mixing stuff. Alexa, stop. Now I'm going to do it again with the heat gun. I'm going to touch the top of the pitcher to make sure that it's pretty hot. It's usually not a bad idea. I mean, it's usually a pretty bad idea because I burn myself quite often, but that's okay. How are you going to know? I would know if I had a thermometer, but forget it. Thermometer's out now. Alright, so now... Oh. I'm so dumb. Y'all, I forgot to put the oil. Did I pour the oil in there? No! Oh my gosh. Okay, I guess you can tell it's been a little bit. I had to pour the oil. Let me pour the oil. Good idea. Good job. I'm so smart. Okay, whatever. Leave me alone. It's been a day. I've had really bad sleep lately. Don't forget your oil, guys. Now I'm going to mix it again for 30 seconds. Alexa, set a timer for 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Multitasking is hard, y'all. At least I know it's hot enough now. Alexa, stop. gonna do it with the heat gun again one more time just to be sure. Okay, so now I'm gonna pour it. Yay, I'm so smart. Can't believe I graduated college. Okay, here we go. Now remember that the wicks are still hanging on the side. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pour it, and I have to be very careful because it's a lot of wax and I don't wanna die. Okay, now I'm very quiet because I don't want to move it, but okay. That gives me anxiety. Right now, I'm going to take the top part of the wick holder, the wick kit. So, this is the tricky part for me. So, I am going to do one at a time. So, I kind of move diagonally and put one wick through. And then I lift it up a little, put the one opposite it through the paperclip looking thing, and I lift it up one more time to move the third wick over. No! Come back. Okay, there it is. And put that one through. So there's 3 paper clips. So it looks, oh no! Okay, and then sometimes it will come out, so you have to kind of feel around the edge, make sure that they're all kind of sticking up through the paper clip. Come on. And this one the one on the right keeps giving me some trouble. Hopefully you can see this. I know you can't really see it that well because of the way the camera is. Okay, then I don't touch it, and then I pray for a while because I don't want it to fall. Because the last time I did this, a couple times ago, I did a base candle and I had one wick completely fall through inside the jar, and I was trying to dig it out and I couldn't see it, and it was really frustrating. But anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna come right back after these are both cool, maybe after an hour, and then I'll trim the wicks, and then I'll show you how to make sure that there's no sinkholes and stuff, and things like that. So I will be back later. Okay, so it's been, I don't even know how long, but it's probably been more than an hour. Everything is dry, or cooled off. So I'm going to take the soprano candle first, and I'm going to cut the wick. So what I'll do is take my wick trimmer, and the bottom where it cuts, I will put the wick through it until it touches the bar that it's on, the wick bar, and cut it right there. Throw that in the garbage. Lift my bar off of the candle itself, and gently, with my index finger, which has the shortest nail, because I don't want to chip it, I will feel the wax, make sure that it doesn't have any bumps, and it has a teeny little one, but it's still noticeable enough for me to be annoyed. So, what I'm going to do is take my heat gun and put it over the candle, maybe about 4 fingers up above the candle itself, and turn the heat gun on and probably have it there until I feel the jar get hot, and then let it cool, and it should be flat after that. Okay, and I'll let that cool. And then afterwards it should be completely flat. So now, I'm going to take the 3 wicks from my base candle and cut those. So, one at a time. I do the same thing as I said I was doing on the other, with putting it directly on top of the clothespin looking thing for the wick holder on the top, and then just throw them away. One at a time, because there's 3. And now I'll do the last one. Oops, hold on, gotta fix that. I accidentally moved the wick holder on the top, so I have to put it back. Okay. Here we go. No! Okay. Don't do what I just did. I'm not even going to explain it again. There we go. So I accidentally cut it a little weird, so it was a little flimsy on the top, but now it looks fine. So now I'm going to remove that and feel again with my index finger around. Now it looks like this. Those of you with vision, hopefully you'll be able to see it. It's got some little dents, so I'm gonna again go with the heat gun and do it completely. Now if I want to look at it, make sure that it's flat without touching it. I take my phone and I turn the flashlight on and I shine it on there on the candle so I can see, because I still have some vision, if it's, you know, still lumpy. But obviously if you can't see, then you can't do that. So just make sure that the jar is cool enough, so that's how you know you can lightly glaze it, I don't know, go over it with your finger. Make sure it's one with a really short nail, because you don't want to scratch the wax. So I'm going to do it again over there with the heat gun until the jar gets hot or warm, and then I will stop. Now since this is a bigger jar, I kind of move it around a little in circles to make sure I'm getting everything. And I'm feeling around the air come down with my hand, my right hand. I'm holding the heat gun with my left hand, and I'm feeling around to make sure that the air isn't flowing on my tablecloth. Okay, and it should be fine after a little while. It should be completely cool, and maybe at the end I will insert pictures of what the end result looks like. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I've already cleaned everything because I was waiting a while, so I figured I might as well clean. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I know it was a long one, but hopefully something in this video was helpful to you. If not, please, please, please leave comments, questions, concerns, whatever. I will answer. I love reading comments, like I said. Anyways, if you want to check out my main channel, it is linked in the description along with my Instagram and Facebook. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, or whenever you're watching this. And stay blessed and stay musical. Bye! Alright guys, so here we have the final result. The left is the soprano, and it's red and all its glory. Looks pretty nice to me. I would sell it. And also, all of my choir candles are currently for sale and still available are some mystery candles. And to the right is the base candle, and it's really nice. I like the way it came out. Not really, not that bumpy or lumpy, and it smells amazing. My mom loves this one. She buys this one for me every time I make it. But anyway, so that's it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, or whatever time it is. All that jazz. Prayers to you, and also just stay safe out there. I pray for all of you guys all the time. So anyways, bye!